Hey everyone, Brendan here. I wanted to run through the new stretch goal that we've unlocked. So on Project Cerberus, we just hit the new species. We actually unlocked it late last night, and I have been working on the poll options. And I've also gotten a bunch of questions on how do you come up with new mechanics? Where do you get inspiration for these things? And so I thought this would be a perfect example of one of those options, and I can also do two birds, one stone here. For that time when there was a surplus of birds and evidently a shortage of stones. So let's dive in. So for the species, in my mind, it's not worth creating a new species unless it's unique. If we're creating something that already exists and we're just rehashing it, then it's not really worth doing. You might be able to just put a paragraph on reflavoring this species for your game rather than trying to build out a new set of mechanics. For this, my biggest advantage here is that I leverage the community where I have some ideas, but often other people's are even better. So I'll put out a poll, I'll ask some questions, and get some ideas on what are other people looking for. One thought that I had initially put together was the cataclysm has changed any species, so this could be something that you just kind of apply on top, think custom lineage in the way that you could be an elf, or you could be a human, or you could be a dwarf, or whatever you want, but have that sort of flexibility. And this would be the same thing where it's more of the custom lineage route, except that the trait you're getting is that when you take damage, I haven't decided if it's just elemental or maybe it is also like piercing and slashing, etc. You get some sort of benefit. Your body absorbs that energy, and because you went through this cataclysmic event, you are now able to do something with that. So initial ideas would be if you take fire damage, your movement speed increases by 10 feet. Or maybe if you took thunder damage, you now have tremor sense, and then you would keep this benefit until you take a different type of damage. And this could give you some strategic value of maybe I'm going to have this fight where I want to be faster, or I know we're going to try to convince the king to do something, and I have a benefit I can get if I've taken acid damage beforehand, or whatever it might be. And so this would be some strategic ways to think about how to use that trait, and I think it could be able to not necessarily have to have unique species per se, but have this be a layer you can put on top of that custom lineage, and then you could have elemental markings on characters or whatever you want to do to maybe go the arcane tattoo route or something. Another option that I had actually gotten in the survey on my last project that I wasn't able to fit into the product then, but I'm thinking about now is the were creature route. So werewolf, werebear, wereboar, were-tiger, any of those kinds of things, and maybe they could even all be like subspecies. So you've got the primary where it's a were creature, and then each one of those has their own unique benefit, and maybe there's some sort of a minor transformation that you can go to. And one of the comments that really caught my eye was someone comparing all of the other classes to having a solid option for an orc for a barbarian, human for a fighter, elf for a ranger. So one of the things they said is they don't really feel like there's a good summoner is like default, where this is the class you'd run if you were going to go ahead and run with this species. And I thought that was interesting, so I'm thinking, what if you had some sort of mechanics where you originally were a summon, like the summoner pulled you forth and somehow you have then become your own creature at that point, and this is the species. And maybe it's something that happened with the power of convergence, maybe it's something that happened with people summoning things during the cataclysm, maybe it's limited in scope where there aren't that many of them, or maybe they're able to procreate and there's substantially more than there used to be. So another option there. I can see this Bilbo down here is a little bit distracting with that playing over and over again, so I'm going to scoot up a little bit. But yeah, just another interesting thought there. So those are the three that I'm going to send out, and if you have other ideas, I'd love to hear them. Feel free to leave them in the comments, and I can't wait to see what we build together. We're going to have some awesome content here, and it's just going to keep getting better as we keep rolling. We are just getting started. All right, take care, everyone.